say me never give up. I said there ain't no giving in.
So this is Tyrone Bishop, 28 years old, and you were born with cerebral palsy. Mum, when did you first discover that you had I know he calls himself differently abled. He doesn't call himself disabled, I know that. When did you discover that you had a differently abled son or child?
From very, very early, when he was just no matter 2, 3 months old. I find, well, you know, from the time he came home, I knew that something was different. When I had him in Point Fortin, in the hospital there, when he came out, well, at least he took a very long while to come out. I was going to say I ball down the hospital. I did ball down the hospital. And then when he did come out finally, maybe after a long while, he cried, and they went with him. Next thing you know, I see them bringing him back. And they slapping him. Nothing happening. And then finally, I heard the cry. Okay? And then they went with him. Then, that might have been an hour or more, then they cleaned me up and whatnot. I went back on the ward, and then the next morning, they showed me him, and they said, they sent him to San Fernando. Okay, so they sent him to San Fernando, and I came home the very evening. And he spent about 2 weeks in San Fernando. Right? At first they were feeding him intravenously through the feet, on the leg. Okay? And he stayed there for a while, and then they finally gave him to me after about 2 weeks. And he came home. But then I find it was kind of, sometimes it would be a kind of limpness, but sometimes it would be, I think they describe that as spastic, kind of stiffness. I would hold him and realize he's stiff. You know? And then they joined me in the clinic. I had to go to him clinic every month. But I took him to one of the nursing homes, that one on Cuenca Street there. I took him up there, and then the doctor said, well, he has, because I would go to the clinic and they're not saying anything, you know.
They didn't tell you?
They're not saying anything in the clinic in San Fernando there, downstairs the hospital. They're not saying anything. But when I went up there to a doctor up in that nursing home there, the doctor told me, well, what his complaint is. And I asked him if he would walk. He said, well, he might walk, but it would take a very long time. So, you know, well, I know there's something wrong. So I got accustomed. After a while, I just got accustomed. Take it slowly, bit by bit, you know. I got accustomed.
What were your initial thoughts, though, when you first were told, because they had to have told you that it was cerebral palsy and what that might mean?
That was by the doctor in that medical place up there in Cuenca Street, up by the wharf up the hill there. Yeah. That was there.
What was your first thought?
It was kind of frightening. Because, you know, I studied, well, what to do? But then, you know, with mother encouraging me and whatnot, you know, if that is your lot, well, that is it, you know, just, and everybody would say, just love him. All right? And I realized that is the advice he gave people, you know. The other day told me, somebody asked him, somebody told him they have a child, you know, suffering from cerebral palsy. What advice he has? People call him and ask for advice, you know. He say, just love the child. Yeah, so love him. And then again, I had mother was my support. Right? So mother died when he was about 13, 14? 12. Oh. So I had her like for the first 12 years. She would be right there, seeing about him, doing this, doing everything. for me. I didn't have to get anybody then to say about him, only after she died. Right? So, maybe is the kind of person I am too, you know. I am. Well, my principal told me when I was when I retired. She said, I know you, Miss Bishop, you do such small stuff. Somehow there, I take things in stride. I feel the Lord knows what He's doing. He knows best. Why stay there and cry and cry and cry and, you know? So, that kind of way.
You have other children?
Another son.
One.
4 years older. Exactly 4 years older. 26th April, 4 years before him.
When did you discover that Tyrone was a whiz on a computer and actually is very, very literate indeed?
Well, let me explain about the literacy part. Ever since he was small, I knew he was bright. Bright in that, what we call sensible child. You know that way? But I didn't teach him to read until he was about 19 years. You know, I remember I taught him the alphabet. I taught him the 2 times tables. You know, I would just stay in my spare time doing this with him and that with him. But then I said, I must teach him to read. And I started to teach him to read. I had a phonics set I had bought for the other son. I took out the phonics set. Well, that one didn't really have no set of pictures. It had 2 or 3 little books. Took out the phonics set. And I worked with the phonics set. And I put him through the cartridge. Well, all those books.
Mm-hmm.
When the cartridge, before that, the cartridge, I put him through the introductory. The first primer, the introductory, and then he went on to that book with Boyo and Carla, put him through up to standard 5. You know what he told me? When I come home from work one day, he told me, he doesn't turn the page, understand what was on that page.
But how do you understand him? Because I know that his speech isn't very clear.
Sometimes I ask him it 10 times. And then you would look at the book and you could look at the book and see where you reach. Because he turned in that page like that.
With his elbow?
Turning the page like that. And when he finished, you could see all the beat up part of the book and the new part. But that beat up part, he knew everything inside that. When I came with him, I understand. He understand about hard water and soft water. He understand about it. Because he reading and he understanding. That is where it is. It is beat everybody with that. He reading and he understanding.
So I'm watching him navigating on his Facebook page and so on. When I first met him, I asked him how he was able to type if he can't use his fingers. And then he sent me a video of him using his elbow. But how did you first discover that he could even do that?
A self-taught man.
He's trying to tell us something.
Yes. Oh, you see, using that phone, he would use the phone. Everybody coming to ask him to do this for them on the phone, do that for them on the phone, do that for them on the phone.
Miss Bishop.
Yes.
How did you even discover he could use the phone? That's what I mean.
Well, I don't know. He wants a phone.
He asked you for a phone.
Buy him a phone.
He asked you for a phone?
Yes. You buy him a phone.
So because I wouldn't have bought you the phone. I would have said, well, what you want a phone for?
He wants a phone.
So you bought him the phone?
Yes. And he was with that, not the Coty board, the next one. He used that for a long while until finally he told me he feel he could handle that Coty board one. He wanted Wi-Fi. So to get the Wi-Fi, you're not getting Wi-Fi on this
Right.
keyboard
That's
here,
a me too.
right? So he had to get that to get the Wi-Fi. So I bought that for him. I said, boy.
Which is a smartphone.
I said, how you will handle those little numbers on that?
I can't even handle it, Miss Bishop, with my nails.
Watch me. Right, so. Right there, doing everything. We will cut and paste on that. And don't ask me how we learn cut and paste.
Because you can't even send an email, can you? When you told me that.
But watch me, he will show me. He will show me how to do it. He will show me it. I will do it. Next week he will show me again. I'll do it again. I say I have a computer, but I'm on computer.
Me say me never give up. I said there ain't no giving in. And when the going gets tough,